Welcome to the Broken Pencil Booking Company Pro Wrestling Podcast and radio show infused with hip hop. I am Wood.
Made daily with organic, farm to table, localized, neuralized, sterilized, Scotch guarded for 2020 repellent, available online, shipped via Amazon, not available on Sundays, but now available on thebeastradio.com. Broken Pencil Logic. You stay classy, internet. I'm Suave Burgundy.
That's my purse! I don't know you!
Do we just want to jump into this shit?
Totally up to you.
I'm game, bro. I'm fucking game. Hold on. Let me, because I need to get this fucking audio ready. Boy.
Like, what did you want to start with? You want to start with the Wiz Khalifa shit? See, the reason I thought it was going to be pre-roll, because chances are we're not going to stick to our normal level of couth. Like,
there's only one thing that we don't do, and we can refrain from doing that willingly.
We can, but yeah. but why? Nah, fuck it. I just got off of a plane. I've been dealing with stupid people, so yeah, I need to get this off.
After watching The Pink last night and hearing what I heard on that fucking show.
Oh my god! Like, what I want P Valley to do, which at this point I'm almost like, fuck it. I don't care what they do.
Right.
I want, because season 2 has been exactly this. I want them to stop doing episodes by committee. Every episode has a different writer, different director.
And it shows.
Oh my god. Oh my god, it does. Like,
it's glaring.
Like, super glaring. It's like one writer is like, every time you see like an elaborate
homosexual sex scene.
Yeah, when you get one of those, it's always the same person. Always. When you get like almost the quirky flashback-ish type shit where they trying to basically build a foundation for the character, same person all the time. I'm just like, oh, and when they do the spooky supernatural shit,
same person.
Same person. I'm like, bruh, y'all have got to.
And I'm almost willing to go back and take a look to see all of the writers who were involved in the episodes that are directly correlated to Diamond and Keyshawn.
The same way we go back and check and see who the agents are on matches.
Yep.
Same shit. Same shit.
It's the exact same shit.
It's the same. The things we like usually come from the same people. The things we don't like usually come from the same people. That's fucking crazy.
Oh man,
yeah, like,
it feels like we haven't recorded in 2 weeks, and it's only been exactly 7 days.
Right.
This is
because
crazy.
no, you know what it is. We ain't had the same volume of text prep going back and forth.
We also, this is very rare for both of us, for us not to be able to go back and forth during a pay-per-view.
This is also true,
especially a major one like this, because we were both busy. You were out of pocket, and I was shit. We were both in the middle of I got to tell you about that shit. I don't even know if you want to include that in the because I could pre-roll that to prep us for the show, and then we can go into the bullshit, or we can add it for the show. Either way, it's equally as wholesome.
I thought the P Valley conversation was a part of the show.
Oh well, shit, there it is.
I thought we was already rolling.
There it is.
Because we didn't get to the real shit that we loading clips up for.
Oh no, I'm still loading clips. So
and then we still got to do the wrestling shit.
So let me run down my my weekend. But before I do that, shit, man, run down you had an eventful fucking last 7 days.
Yes, absolutely eventful.
Like
That is
like when it ends in Vegas, like you can't shit on that.
Nah, these is facts. Like you can't. So okay, let me preface all because I'm gonna get to some good stuff. So
Yep.
let me preface this by saying the world is much stupider than what it was before. Way dumber.
As
And
evidence, as evidenced by that Facebook post I made over the weekend. I'll come back to that in a second. 'Cause
Bubble Coat Man.
yeah, it that ties into the whole reason why we're starting the way that we are. But go ahead.
Yeah, I gotta hear exactly how that came about. However, because of how the pandemic rocked the American civilization structure as we know it, and some people just finally had that light bulb go off to say, fuck this, I'm worth more than what I'm being paid. And it left a lot of jobs open. And now, due to staffing issues, they don't care about being qualified, they just need a body.
This is a fact. This is a whole fact.
You know what I'm saying? And it's no more glaring and no more painful for the consumer than when you're dealing in the service industry. So, first of all, DFW International is a shithole. I mean, and not because of the way it's built or constructed, because it's one of the nicer airports in America. But the quality of people who wear name badges in that bitch are god awful. Just
It's just
terrible.
I don't know who is responsible in HR for vetting or lack thereof of the personnel that's inside that airport. I definitely want to know. I got smoke for the person that's in charge of transportation hires at the DFW airport, specifically those who drive the shuttle buses,
Bruh.
those who drive the buses that go to the parking lots. Hands could be had, and I think
Yeah, like for real.
I think they know because they're at a federally protected entity
Yeah, you
that
can't
no
go
one's
into the
going
airport.
to fuck with them. I have gotten into an issue in the if anybody has ever been to DFW airport, you know there's 5 terminals. All of them have a maze. Like if you're not familiar with the layout of each terminal individually, because they are not the same
At all.
if you're not familiar with the layout, something bad can happen to you, or you can put yourself in a really compromising situation as it relates to traffic and the safety of your vehicle and or self. That's it.
Right. Very much so. It's video game setup type shit.
Terminal C, arrivals, the short ramp going up to the terminal on the higher end of the dial, like the I think gates 9 through 1 is where I was at.
Okay.
And I'm coming around the corner, and I have to double park to get bags in the car. I think I had a family member, a friend, somebody who's coming in town real quick. It might have been Big Brother Jake. Now I think about it. And so I pop the latch on the back of the hatch of the SUV, and it rises up. And then this shuttle bus is trying to make me move out of the way where I'm double parked with my 4-ways on, so he could basically either run over me or just keep barreling through the high rate of speed, because apparently he's running behind schedule. When all he has to do is 4 lanes. Jump into the lane closest to you on the left and keep it moving. He jumps over to the lane on the left, parks, and starts barking at me in a unintelligible language. You know what I do? I walk all the way around my car, and I hit his passenger side rearview mirror, and I push it inward. And I walk around to the driver's side of the car, and I push it inward. And I wave at him, and I blow him a kiss, and I keep it moving.
Because you ain't using these motherfuckers anyway.
That's the closest thing that I can do to literally putting my fist down his jaw.
Right. Yeah, that's why we don't do people.
And he got, of course he got aggravated at that, but what you gonna do? You gonna catch an assault charge because I touched your vehicle? I didn't cause any damage to it. I just made you do more work.
I ain't weaving shit.
But anyway,
like no, in that, and that's like you have to know your surroundings. In that particular situation, I ain't weaving shit. I'm finna play victim. Yeah, like you motherfuckers get to do this shit out in the street and out in the world and online all day, every day. In this particular situation, I'm playing the victim. Just this once. And I've been watching y'all, so I know how to do it.
To quote the great Shock G, the late great Shock G, in this situation, what should you do?
Hey, don't weave a punch, get hit. But yeah, so that's, yeah, that, let me preface that by just saying there are not enough qualified, intelligent individuals in the workforce. And it's a direct result of them not being compensated properly for their level of intelligence. And it's even worse when you start looking at it and it's like performance reflects leadership, because you start seeing the motherfuckers that carry the walkie-talkies that ain't dressed in, you know, air quotes uniform, and you're like, oh, I see why this is like this. This motherfucker dressed like a chandelier.
Sequins and all in this bitch.
Head to toe.
Hey, he out here. So speaking of Chuck Lee, he out here singing when I'm making about this bit. I'm gonna go stupid rich.
Say no cap. And this shit gonna sound funny as fuck. But the woman that we ended up seeing that was in charge was dressed like that shit came straight out of Uncle Clifford's closet, like the Sunday best. Whatever the Sunday best pantsuit is for Uncle Clifford, that's how she was dressed. And we didn't even have any interaction. I just happened to see how she was interacting with her, you know, her team.
Lively is the word.
Yeah. But you ever been to either airport and you have motherfuckers that are dressed in uniform standing under a sign that says assistance, and none of them motherfuckers can assist you?
Man.
And on top of that, they have an attitude about you asking.
And they may be able to understand your English and don't speak a lick of yours.
Oh, I could totally understand their English because all they said is, I don't know. I thought, yeah, so, but get that off. But spend some time with the family. That was the road trip part. Head out to East Texas, kick it real big. When you go so deep into the country that you no longer get cell service, that's how you know you're gonna have a good time. Because nothing can bother you. Literally.
Boy.
Nothing can bother you. There's just enough of a Wi-Fi connection where you are to watch TV. Or for just the TV to be on in the background.
You're fortunate. When I go to my wife's place, and her small hometown of a couple hundred people, I don't have that, and in fact, I don't even have cell signal, and it's a beautiful thing. I'm down in the valley with a girl. Wait, hold on, just in the valley.
Yeah, all of that.
Yeah.
Down in the valley with no cell phone service. When it get dark, you gonna start to get nervous. Oh shit, deer. Yeah, it's deer crossing type shit. Like you can't. You get on a backcountry road in the middle of the night and you gotta go like 30. Cause literally, if you try to speed racer that bitch, there's a good chance you gonna total out hitting a deer. Now you have no cell service and your car, or your bumper is in your driver's seat, and it's pitch black.
Not to mention, trains still run on time in these towns.
Street lights? Where? Fuck you mean?
Street lights.
Is headlights or nothing, you bitch?
Yeah,
you better hope somebody got a light outside their house.
It's headlights or nothing, you wish.
Boy. So, Big kicked it, had a good time. Everybody got completely filthy. The little mini-me was, riding ATVs. Like, that's her favorite shit in the world.
Oof.
I'm talking about, that life. Like,
oof, yeah.
All of my inner non-city slicker is so soothed when I go in that direction. when your nighttime hygiene
routine consists of a fingernail brush, you know you've done some things.
That part, like, yeah, like Walmart is the biggest thing going on,
and it's an event.
Next to your fucking hotel.
Yeah, it's an event too. Speaking of, I got a good one for you as it relates to small towns and Walmart. So, this past Saturday, first and foremost, we're recording on Thursday, August the 4th. Yeah, my lord.
Yeah, my lord.
I said, yeah, my lord.
Yeah, my lord.
20 and 22.
Amen.
On Saturday, July 30th, yeah, my lord.
Yeah, my lord.
I said, yeah, my lord.
Yeah, my lord.
2022.
Amen.
I had the privilege and the honor to, and I got to tell you about the Chance meeting too, but I had to, I had the privilege and the honor to link up with one of my longtime partners, the legendary Money B of the Great Digital Underground.
Yo.
And met up with my Beast family. First time face-to-face meeting DJ Always. Shout out Always. And also had the privilege of meeting the character, the heir to the throne, if you will, who is Young Hump. And if you get a chance to see Digital Underground in your town, it is a sight to see. Young Hump is an absolute fool. You're going to get lost in the fact that Shock G is actually no longer with us, because Young Hump it has absorbed the soul of whatever that man had on this planet, and I'm not even bullshitting. There's a story that goes with that too. So at any rate, we travel to Gun Barrel City, Texas.
I've only heard Gun Barrel City. I don't think I've ever stopped there.
Let me tell you, if you've gone to Gun Barrel City, you've only gone through Gun Barrel City. It's one of the largest small towns I have ever seen in my life, and it sits on a very beautiful lake. Mm-hmm. The two hotels there are the mirror polar opposite of the lake.
Okay.
I digress. This is a night. Go ahead.
That's kind of like where I was. Like in the actual town, the hotel is like, that's literally on some, like, you just put your clothes there, because eventually you gotta try to sleep. But yeah, you just put your clothes there. If you actually want to stay somewhere where you're gonna have at least a moderately comfortable situation, it's like 20 miles out.
Yep. The next biggest town would have either been Athens or Kaufman.
Okay, and so for me, it would have been Center, or you either going to Nacogdoches or Center.
Yeah, there you go. And even Center is questionable. That's it.
Yes, I mean, look, if it's not McDonald's, fucking Whataburger, or what's the other one? I think it's a Little Caesars right there too. Like, you fucked.
So, like as a stickler for rules and the way things work in this country,
right? When
you are in a town where an even numbered highway runs north and south, you didn't have shit else to do but go to sleep when you get to this town. Center is that place. At any rate,
even number.
Yep. U.S. Highway 96 is supposed to run east and west. That shit runs north and south.
You're absolutely correct. Oh yeah, you go to Center to drop your clothes off, come back to sleep.
I'll double down. Outside of Laredo, U.S. Highway 83 runs east and west.
Yikes.
That's some Texas shit. Anyway, we can be back up. So we're in the hotel room, and my wife, my lovely, beautiful wife, has the audacity to fix her lips and say, oh, let me tell you who's on the card. First of all, on the card is Digital Underground, CNC Music Factory, and Tag Team.
Back again.
Check it directly. Let's begin.
Yeah.
And it's DC's birthday. That plays into this. Everything plays into something here. My wife fixes her lips to say, isn't the rapper from CNC Music Factory, didn't he die?
What?
Freedom Williams? Nah, he's alive and well. Like, no, I think he died.
Just a good vibration.
When he die? I think that's Marky Mark you talking about there, sir.
It is, but it's the same fucking era.
It is. Same genre of hip-hop.
You play 2 or 3 of them songs back to back, you can't tell who's who.
Same genre of hip-hop. We're going to make you sweat, things to make you go home, and then that shit, good vibrations. Yep. At any rate,
yeah.
She's like, he died in the 90s of AIDS. I'm like, I'm not so sure about that. I think he's alive and well. And
I have a hilarious story about AIDS, and there's no story about AIDS that should be funny
ever. But yeah,
ever.
So we go to the venue, which is outside. It's a field. We outside, huge stage, like 100 by 100, 50 by 100 stage, or 100 by 50 stage, however you want to word it, but huge stage. Lots of lights, plenty shit. The dressing rooms are fifth wheels. They're brand new fifth wheels. Hell, there's still plastic on the footrests of the couches. The shit's phenomenal. Like it's
fifth wheel reclining.
Like it makes me want to get a fifth wheel. That's how dope these fifth wheels were.
Okay.
At any rate, it's myself, my partner Tori from the B. Shout out Tori. My wife, Money B, Young Hump, always. And this man walks in with the loudest and most egregious Harlem loud red suit possible. And when I say like egregious, I mean it looks like paisley, but it's not. It has a bunch of different designs. I'm talking every color from like, it's based red, there's blue, there's white, there's yellow, there's pink. There may have been some orange in this shit. Now, the science behind this suit is if you're on stage and you have the right lights, certain colors wash out or other colors on this suit, which makes the suit appear to be changing colors. It's pretty dope. We're under white light. This shit's loud as fuck. This wasn't that. And so
taking care of business.
So he comes in, and with all the vitriol and in the strongest of Brooklyn accents, he starts on this tirade about the promoter, because the promoter was supposed to have some things there, and like they were short. Like we had all the liquor, all the soft drinks, all the water, no cups or ice. At any rate, it's also DC from Tag Team. It's also his birthday. They're on stage performing while we're back here plotting on this damn cake. And he starts talking. This guy in his red suit starts talking. And he's just like, yo, B, like I'm that fucking promoter, yo. Like, we asked him like, yo, what's up with the cake? Like, where can we get a cake from? It's my man's birthday. We gotta do, you know what I'm saying? We gotta do it for you. You know what I mean? Like, what's up? What's up? Where do we get a cake? It's like,
you sound like Busta Rhymes on Boondocks.
Hold on, man. He said, well, there's a Walmart. Like, Walmart? We don't buy cakes from fucking Walmart. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, what else you got? He's like, well, there's a Dairy Queen. Like, what the fuck you mean? Like, we supposed to get a cake from Dairy Queen? Like my motherfucking man is 8 or something? Like, nah.
Wow.
Y'all don't have a bakery here? Like, it's a small town. It's a small town? Y'all don't have a bakery? Y'all don't have a bakery? Yo,
yeah, it's like overkill, fam.
Yo, but it was so funny because he was just recounting the story. So we're listening to this from the horse's mouth, you know, as a replay. So he's super over the top because he's not in the moment. He's pissed. So then he dials it back, starts smiling, starts, you know, apologizing for not introducing himself. We dap up, and I say, "Oh, Freedom is Sean, Freedom Williams." My wife's face drops.
I thought you were dead.
She was just introduced to a dead man, sir.
A dead man with AIDS.
Fast forward. Everybody's done performing. We're back in the trailer.
Right.
Phone rings, and it's one of Money B's guys from LA.
Okay.
And he's on the phone. Like as soon as he answers the phone, Young Hump figures out who it is. They have a conversation. It's all on speaker. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes. Mun finally gets the phone back. The reason why this dude called was because he was with another guy who's on another leg of the same tour. This guy being Tretch of the Mighty Naughty by Nature.
Okay.
So in LA this past Saturday, at the same time we were in Gun Barrel City, was Kid and Play, Naughty by Nature, Vanilla Ice, and possibly, I would think, because they're all part of the same company, the same traveling circuit, Tone Loc may have been there.
Okay.
Tretch gets on the phone, and mind you, he's on speaker, and I don't know if he knows he's on speaker, but there's about eight people in this room, and he says,
That's never a good thing.
yeah,
it's never a good thing.
Yeah, B, my man, Money B, like, yeah, man, like, I take him anywhere, yo. Like, all you need is like a booster seat, fam. And all you saw was Money B crumble like the Wicked Witch of the West would have water poured on her.
Bruh.
Yo, hilarious, fam. Good
That's
times,
funny.
good times backstage, man. But on the way though, like from like, you know, from the Sportatorium parking lot to Gun
Yes.
Barrel City, as the wind flies, as the crow flies. Luckily for us, there's a Buc-ee's, so we stopped at Buc-ee's because it's Buc-ee's. And because, bitch, Texas.
Yeah, like there's absolutely no way to have a bad experience if Buc-ee's is involved.
And it was a planned stop. It wasn't like we went out of our way. Like, no. Like, we planned to stop here. Because,
I mean, aren't they all?
No. They're strategically lined out once you get there. But a planned stop to Buc-ee's is not always the case. Not always. They should be, but not always the case.
If I happen to know or find out that there is a excursion going in a certain direction, I'm going to do my research and see how I can hit a Buc-ee's.
So outside of this Buc-ee's though, in between, on the back half of the trip is a 2-lane highway.
In betweenst?
To the right of this highway, there's a motor club. And I know that there's a motor club, probably a motorcycle club. Let me be more, an MC, if you will. As evidenced by the brand new signage they have attached to a pole that goes up from the side of the highway, up above the highway, so anybody driving past can see it. There are 2 gates that were closed. Inside of these gates was a U-turn, was a horseshoe U-turn, and a couple of fifth wheels, a couple of double wides, a few tiny houses, a couple of other storage structures, and no vehicles. We were not, and it was 8:30 at night. We were not coming back through there after midnight. It was not popping. We drove 10 minutes out the way, 20 miles out the way, so we can have the comfort of 4-lane highway minimum on the way back, which opened up to 6, which opened up to 8. But we saw 2, maybe 3 drunk drivers swerving and a high-speed chase all on the way back. It was all bad. Needless to say, Gun Barrel City, thank you for your hospitality. We will never be back. So that was my Saturday, but it was fun. It was very eventful. I'm not mad at all.
Now tell me how this bubble coat thing happened.
Go into a 7-Eleven.
Okay, here we go.
I go into a 7-Eleven simply to go grab something to drink. I have this really wild affinity right now for sparkling water. Grown man shit. I don't care about the sugar. I don't care about the flavor. The essences of fruit are fine. I just love clean, bubbling water.
Gotcha.
I am grown beyond reason. One of the ones that I really, really like is this joint called Aha that's in the 7-Eleven fountains. It has watermelon essence in it. The bubbles are mad strong, like a Sprite from McDonald's. It's just, and it's in the summertime, it's just super refreshing. It makes you think you're drinking soda, but of course there's no flavor in it. So it pacifies all the needs. You get your carbonation, you get your water. Like it's just the move.
In like in the vein of Topo Chico.
I'll buy it. Yeah, sure. Because you can't go wrong with Topo Chico either.
Yeah, these are truths.
I go to the counter.
Except the tangerine. This shit ain't it.
I ain't had that. I have had the lime.
So the one with lime is my go-to.
Yeah.
And if I just have to have it, I take the original. But lime is my go-to. Well, there was a shortage on lime in the state of Texas not that long ago. Like, you couldn't find it. It wasn't anywhere on anybody's shelves. And when it would hit the shelves, it would disappear. So in the midst of me out looking for it, I stumbled upon Tangerine, which I had never had before.
Mistake.
Yeah, it didn't pan out. It didn't materialize. Had a very medicine-y taste. It wasn't like
no.
Yeah, it was like cough syrup, and not the good kind.
Oh no.
Yeah, not the stuff Future talks about. None of that. Like, no, like this is like orange Dimetapp. Like, what the fuck did you give me? But yeah, it's no bueno. But continuing on our travels abroad and updating, our broken pencil family with a little bit of non-wrestling content before we get out here and get active.
Well, tons of it, because we're 40 minutes in and like
you feel me?
we ain't talk nan wrestling. We had a strong wrestling weekend.
Feels like we might have to slice this bitch and like put the travel shit at the end. But okay, go to Vegas. Me and the missus. We celebrating. This is a late anniversary celebration.
Wait. Hold on. Before you go to Vegas, let me finish with the bubble coat.
Yes, tell us bubble coat.
So I get to the counter, and I pull out my wallet, and I'm making sure I have all my cards, and there was one card that looks the exact same as another card, and so I pulled it out to make sure it wasn't. I didn't have an old card in there, so I was like, okay, cool. And so before I could even reach into my pocket and grab this $5 bill, which wasn't in my wallet because it was just loose, my man says, "Oh, tap to pay. You're gonna use tap to pay? You like that? Yeah. You do know there's risk involved with tap to pay. I'm sorry. What was that? There's risk involved with tap to pay. Elaborate. There's like it's a security risk that are involved with with breaches with when you use tap to pay. Like, man,
because you love to entertain people in their bullshit.
I was like, there are risks with walking into a convenience store to go to work. There are risks wearing a coat in 100-degree heat. There are risks of waking up in the morning and breathing the fresh air outside your door. There are risks with driving a car. There are risks with flying a plane. Man, shut up and just count my change.
That's tough. Like, do you really consider yourself smart enough to just, make these breakthrough ass analysis points?
I shouldn't be sounding like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. behind the business end of a conversation related to a payment method that is irrelevant to the conversation or the situation. And all I wanted was some fucking sparkling water. Anyway, you go to Vegas, anniversary weekend, running it.
Yeah, so me and the missus, we have this is a pretty interesting situation. We get to where we're going, and I told you about the lack of astuteness of the staff, people around there that are supposed to be, providing some sort of assistance and have, no rhyme or reason to try to produce that. So then, you ever been to an airline or flown on an airline different than what you would normally fly on? Or you kind of took a chance on one?
Yeah.
And you paid for a checked bag, you bought your seats, you think you really think you're adults and you've done some shit pretty cool.
Which one was the Vic this time?
Sun Country. Right.
Okay.
Now, I'm in the passenger seat for this. Like the whole planning process, I'm in the passenger seat. This is Ferris Bueller's Day Off. So now, mind you, me and the missus, we have this thing where we like to cheat death as far as time is concerned. Not the most punctual when we doing shit. It depends. Like, there are varying levels.
It's too easy. Go ahead though.
Yeah, not the most punctual. However, we gave ourselves, certainly more of a window than we've ever, you know, we've had close calls to where like they had to hold the plane because we were flying deep, so they had enough influence to kind of hold everything up so we could get through. Nowhere near that as far as travel time. But get to the airport, get to the check-in desk, and it is closed.
Oh no. What?
Yeah, there's no one there. No sign of anyone there. It's closed. And they don't reopen until 2 hours before the next flight. I've never heard of some shit
What
like
is this, Wings? I had one of those experiences too, but go ahead.
Right. So then, okay, we looking around, asking around, get no help. So we say, fuck it. We're just going to go through security. We'll handle it when we get ready to board. Here we go. Security line is thick, but it ain't like impossible thick. But there's only one person scanning IDs. And being very, very laissez-faire about the whole thing. I'm like, okay, I see how this might get ugly, but we good. We moving around. We doing something. It's another couple that's on the same flight that we're on, and they did the skip line with TSA, and they didn't get through security very much ahead of us. But we've checked bags, and I have my keys. We have keys in my wife's purse. Goes through, and they stop, look at it, and for whatever reason it goes over to this needs to be checked. We're like, fuck. You making everything a lot tighter than it needs to be. So there's a guy who is getting his luggage reviewed that is in front of us. This individual is not a resident of these United States. I will not get into nationality, but it's not from here. Or if he is from here, wasn't born here. Him and the TSA agent, who's also taking sweet ass time, like, just, it was very Golden Girlish vibe about all of this shit. It's almost like Estelle Getty was working the counter type thing. And she's going through this guy's bag and pulls out two of the largest bottles of a vino I have ever fucking seen. Like, I'm dead serious. Like, she pulled 2/5 of Crown out this motherfucker's bag, but it was
a vino. Lotion.
A vino. And I'm like, see, and that's what told me, like, not from here. You done found some shit that really works and you trying to take something home. But of course there's a air quotes language barrier, which really ain't a language barrier. And she's explaining to him he needs to check you need to get a bag and check this because we can't let you through with this. And he's kind of trying to, what's the word I'm looking for? He trying to soft shoe his way into just getting the clearance to go. You figure, like, if you pretend like you don't know for long enough, they'll just say, hey, it's okay, just take it.
Finesse even.
There, trying to soft shoe and finesse. It's not working, and we standing behind him like, if you don't get your motherfucking ass out the way so we can get to this flight. Well, long story short, nobody moved any faster. End up getting my wife's bag. They find out his keys, and he's just like, okay, go ahead. So now we're on a mad dash to get to the gate for a flight that ain't there anymore. Done. It's no longer with us. Out of there. So, of course, I'm already not the greatest people person when I'm irritated. I'm not, unless someone has prepped me to who you are, I may not be the greatest people person, and I'm not irritated. I don't really like people. But I mean, you know, you guys know, you listen. But so they're trying to figure out, you know, what we can do, how we can swap the flight around. Of course, customer service. People at the front desk, the check-in count, not the check-in counter, but the boarding counter, of the airline can't pull up a list of more flights. You don't know when the next flight from your airline is going out to Las Vegas? Again, a lot of motherfuckers gonna be replaced by computers shortly.
I just really hope it ain't the people behind the windshield holding the joysticks.
Oh my God. Yes. So we basically get, we'll call customer service and see what they can do. I'm like, then why are you on the clock? If this flight just left, you don't have access to information about other flights, and you really can't do anything other than refer someone to customer service. Like, why are you on the clock? Shouldn't you go home? You don't have anything to do. Neither here nor there. Of course, customer service is like, it's a hella long hold, and there's not much in the way of explanation, and the options they gave us for fucking fixing it was like unacceptable. Like, one of them was like, well, you can fly to Minneapolis, do a 6-hour layover, and then fly from there to Vegas. Like, man, what? But then the other one was to fly out Thursday. Mind you, this is Monday. They wanted us to fly out now while we're doing this. Like, bitch, that's the day we supposed to come back. The hell you mean fly? So, obviously. So, I have to get my grown up on. And I say, fuck this. We not finna be stranded. We not leaving the airport. We're not finna wait for anybody else to fix this. I'm finna drop out. So, and I know this airline has kind of had its issues with dealing with people. We didn't have any issues. So, I guess a half-ass shout out to American Airlines.
Wait, hold on. A half-ass shout out? Let's see here.
Yeah, no applause. The bell might be too much. Where's the drums?
Just a tap, man. Here's this. Wait, hold on. Just let that.
It's too much. Too much.
And then I'll double down and get you. Let's see here.
I need a drum roll with the snare.
How about that?
Yeah, there you go. That's what they earned.
And
yeah, there you go. Straight like that. So, yeah, that had.
Where'd you go? Swap.
Yeah.
There we
go. Obviously, money I hadn't planned on spending, but what's your other option? Your other option is to be like, okay, well, the fucking trip's ruined, and start calling and canceling shit. Cancel this room, cancel this show, get refunded for these tickets, and it's like, nah, fuck that, we're not doing that. Maybe in my 20s, when my credit line wasn't as strong. But, you know what I'm saying? So, let that be a shout out to everybody who's listening to the show in their 20s. Like, protect your credit, protect your neck.
Wu-Tang.
Wu-Tang. So, buy another flight. The earliest flight out is like 8 something. So basically we're gonna be in the airport for like an additional 5 hours or so. So I'm like, alright, cool. Grab a meal, start streaming Raw. It's like so the majority of Raw I watched in the airport waiting on the flight.
Shouts out to Uncle Trips for Monday Night Raw, man.
Like, man, say.
Like,
look, Obadiah is out here taking Stark Industries back to prominence.
You cannot open up the floodgates of creative genius all at one fell swoop. But before we start talking about Raw, let's say this. SummerSlam. Oh my God, SummerSlam. Like, there's budget and there's the shit that they pulled on Saturday. Man, I don't understand why they turned SummerSlam into a mini WrestleMania, but it's now number 2. If it wasn't before, it is definitely now number 2 on the calendar for events. It's definitely higher than Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble is just...
Wait a minute. I'm not so ready to do that.
For dollars? For dollars? Like that,
for dollars.
Yes.
Fuck they dollars. I want my entertainment value. I don't give a damn about
no. But they tried. They went outside. For this one, we had fun. When's the last time we had fun at SummerSlam? Like, I don't
16 maybe.
What, the first one in Barclays?
That's probably it. Because it's got to be one from Barclays.
So, Logan Paul. I don't care for Logan Paul as a human being. He's a piece of shit. But let me tell you something.
I've never looked at enough stuff he's done to know whether I need to feel like he's a piece of shit. One story I did hear was like, nah, that's some fuck shit.
That's enough. that one's enough.
Yeah, by itself, that's enough.
His performance at SummerSlam, the air he got on the frog. Montez Ford probably saw the air he got on that frog splash and was like, there. Pat McAfee, national treasure, protect them at all costs. Pat McAfee, man, just, and then I have my reasons for this. I'm going to say that the last man standing match is the best last man standing match we have ever seen for a number of reasons. Those would argue with me over the fact that there were too many people involved. I disagree with that. If you have a last man standing match, number 1 rule is that there are no rules. Number 2 rule is the person who wins the match is the person who renders his opponent to the point that they cannot answer a 10 count on their feet. And what we got was 3.5 run-ins, and almost cash in, a fucking tractor, and for the first time that I ever remember, a show's announce team had their life threatened by a ring that was pushed back by a tractor. Meanwhile, there's a whole front row on one side, across from the hard side of the camera, that could not see the end of the main event because the ring was elevated above their eye line. Fam, the levels of bullshit that were in. Roman Reigns was put into a front loader, dumped into the ring. The ring was lifted up, and Roman Reigns and the referee were rolled out of the ring as if they were toys, as if they were marbles on a ramp. The levels of bullshit that happened in that match we will never see again. On top of all that, there was zero blood. Fam, listen. This is also your daily acknowledgement of the tribal chief, the head of the table, and the undisputed WWE Universal Champion, Roman damn Reigns.
A whole lot of fucking gang shit.
Come on, man. My only disappointing thing that I saw in that was Seth Rollins not having an actual opponent after Triple H saying something like, "I hear you," on Twitter. Outside of that, Suave, what are your takeaways for SummerSlam?
Once I finally got to watch it, I was like, the Lesnar Reigns match is probably the best of their series. Like, 31 tells an incredible story, but I mean WrestleMania 31.
Yeah.
Not match 31. They've had 76. I don't remember match 31. But I don't even know if SummerSlam 2018. Okay, I take that. Yeah, 2018 is the last one that was really up there. But I don't even think the 2018 SummerSlam match was as good. Again, it told a story. There was psychology going on. You have the Usos, who you figured were going to get involved. You have Theory's looming cash in. You have what the fuck is Lesnar gonna do, and how do you continue to keep Reigns strong? Because again, there's no situation I see anytime soon where you're going to put Roman Reigns in a one-on-one match and beat him for the championship. It doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make financial sense. It doesn't make creative sense. It just doesn't make sense. It just don't. But that match I enjoyed. Street Profits and the Usos, I feel like they had a better match last pay-per-view. Like, they had a fucking banger on the last pay-per-view. In the rematch, I think everyone's expectations were so super high, and it felt like by the end of that match was more about setting up a Montez Ford turn than about having that match be great.
Yeah.
Other than being in Nashville, Jeff Jarrett made no fucking sense. None. Putting your hands on wrestlers, but the shit doesn't escalate. Like, putting your hands on wrestlers in the beginning makes no sense unless you're going to do it again at the end, and that plays into the finish. But I will say this: Drew McIntyre, welcome back. Now, if we can find with a high monkey ass sword, we might be back to where we was a while ago. But you can tell from the delivery of the promo, the content of the promo, the way he interacted with the crowd. You could tell this wasn't the same goofy ass content and scripting he was given before to try to get over. This was more like, this is actual Drew Galloway.
Yeah.
Like, Drew Galloway showed up to play the part of Drew McIntyre.
Yep. I agree.
You know what I'm saying? So I was happy to see that. Because it's the little things that let you know things are different. It's not gonna... Okay, you're not gonna tune in to Raw next Monday and see a complete set change. They're not gonna alter the colors of Raw. It's not gonna be this big, shocking... They're not gonna wipe the hard drive, basically.
You're not going to see a bunch of new signees, although we did see a returning Bayley, a returning Dakota Kai, and a returning Io Sky, formerly Io Shirai. And Dakota Kai, the first thing I said was, is she even under contract? And they let it be known that she wasn't even signed to WWE. I'm sure at this point it's kayfabe, but Corey Graves announced it in that voice. So that's, to me, suspension of disbelief. You're bringing it back home. Go ahead, though.
I'm trying to think what else was far. The Bianca Belair Becky Lynch match was cool.
Oh man, great! That was.
Hate that Becky got hurt.
That is not, and I knew something was off. I hate seeing that picture. And I've teased for weeks on end calling her Methy Lynch, and
my goodness.
Here's the when you want the go away heat.
Here's the thing.
Yeah, when you want to go away.
Here's the thing.
And you end up getting it in the wrong way. Like, she's gonna have the same reaction when she comes back as she did last year at SummerSlam. The irony is she came back at SummerSlam last year, she left at SummerSlam this year. That's
Factuals.
crazy. That's crazy.
So now are we gonna start getting like massive returns every year at SummerSlam? Because we got Bayley, which long awaited, long overdue. I'm cool with it. Did not realize that this new faction, which has been named Control, was actually pitched to Vince and Kennedy before, like long before Dakota Kai ever got released and whatever else was going on. Like, this had been pitched before. Obviously, this is one of those things that's going to take some time to get used to because it doesn't look like an organic faction.
Right.
Like, you don't have the reason. Like, they don't have either the one common enemy or, like, you don't even know these people are friends before now. Because you don't hear Io Shirai speak ever. Dakota Kai has always been booked like she doesn't have friends because the last one she had, she fucked over real good. And then
boy,
Bayley's one of the 4 horsewomen, and the horsewomen don't all fuck with each other anymore.
Boy, Like is that even a thing? I mean, shit. They're two of them in the ring looking at each other Saturday night.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but whether air quotes real life or
it's still real to me. Damn it.
That part still real to me. Damn it. But they don't all fuck with each other, so we'll probably never see that. But it was cool for them to be back. It was that was a cool moment. Becky Lynch. I like the fact that Becky Lynch was able to come full circle out of big time Bex and walk her way back into the man. That was masterfully done.
Yes, I totally agreed on that.
Shit made sense, and that's all. Most of the time, that's all I want is for shit to make sense.
Like we got rid of, and it's all in perfect timing. Like you can't keep going against the grain for the wrong type of reaction. It only goes so long before the reactions run out. And I guess, Triple H being a man of being able to gauge and read the room, I guess he figured it was time. Especially since we didn't get Naomi or Sasha Banks back in enough time. Bianca had no allies and left her with no choice. I think it was the right thing to do.
I'm cool with what we're doing right now. Because in a weird way, you have completely walked yourself into a resurgence in women's wrestling. Because what we think is going to happen, which, maybe not. But what we think is going to happen is that you're going to see Becky Lynch go away. She just separated shoulder. Hopefully she's not gone long because she cut a hell of a promo on Monday to recenter herself in the man character. So I'm good to see what's popping with that.
And perfect timing as the man Ric Flair had his last match on Sunday. Go ahead.
Ding ding. Then
I didn't want to ding it.
The scuttlebutt, huh?
I said I didn't even want to ding it because I really didn't want to.
Say it again.
I said I didn't even want to ding it because I didn't want to. I don't really.
Ha.
Wow. Fuck you, man.
Yeah. Wow.
He got me.
There's that. So, bing bong.
I hate you, man.
Bing bong. You know go bing bong. You know go bing bong. Bing bong. But
bing bong.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So the scuttlebutt, we've been hearing it through these different stories that's circulating the net, which you take with a grain of salt. But apparently there are negotiations to bring back Sasha Banks and Naomi. So if the champion is now positioned against a trio of women and she has no air quotes backup, that's a perfect way to just walk them right back in the door and resume business. And let's keep it real. Because it's Uncle Trips, what's the over-under 60% chance he just gives them the tag team titles back, and they just act like the stripping of the titles never happened?
I'm probably going to side with over 60% and say that they will ceremoniously address the situation without naming names. I just think Triple H he's overdue for this type of camera activity because he didn't really have it in NXT. You just knew what his power was. Now he wants to give the people what, like this Paul Levesque is what's best for business. Number one.
Hit the bell for that.
Number two, I've always said there was something about him that I did not care for as a performer. But after his torn quad, I looked back at his overall body of work and was like, he's worthy of that conversation. The conversation I'm talking about. It's the same one we have about rappers. He's worthy of that conversation.
Okay.
And the fact that in the most tumultuous time in the company's history, not only is he back, and not only can he not perform, but he should be an on-screen character simply off of the fact of why he's backstage now. And it's his calling. It's what he's been doing. It's what he's been grooming himself for over at NXT. This is what he turned NXT into for, is so that that those people would have a chance to become internationally known household names on the Raw and SmackDown rosters. He turned NXT into a third brand, not into the farm league. He turned it from the farm league into a third brand. And for a long time, that black and gold got way more burned than the red or the blue combined.
Every pay-per-view weekend.
It was, you can go back from 2014 when the network launched up to and including 2021 when it became the Skittle. And every pay-per-view, even if you didn't care for the card on paper or didn't know the story, was indeed can't miss TV. How many times have we missed a pay-per-view and went back and watched it in totality a day later just to talk about it?
Factual. That used to be a regular occurrence. Like, I don't care which one of the big five it was. Like, if there was a takeover the same weekend, you were going to have to beat that takeover because they were finna show up with a 5-6 match card and like no skips. They drop an EP every takeover, no skips.
None. And now those EPs are 5-star classics. You can compare those to the albums of their big brothers. Nah. Nah, not happening. At any rate, what can we expect from this? Because it's an obvious shift in the dynamic of the organization, but it's not like it was a sudden, swift motion. They're walking the dog. They're stretching this out as they should. And there's also rumors, I hate to say that, but there's also rumors of the black and gold coming back.
Now, if this is true, I will return to active duty as watcher. If we go back to black and gold status, I will resume my fandom of NXT, but not before. I don't give a damn if you tell me, oh, but it's better now. Fuck you. I don't want to watch Nickelodeon unless I want to watch Nickelodeon.
It ain't, and not for nothing. Like, please pardon my ignorance on this, and I say that very kindly towards self, with the utmost of humility. We don't know you, Skittles. We know Brian Breaker. Right. We know Carmelo Hayes. There's a few others that we know, but the people that are at the forefront outside of the title holder, like, we don't know you. The difference was Trips made everybody a household name. Even Cameron Grimes, to the moon. And people don't even remember his other ego from the independent scene. They know Cameron Grimes though.
Nah, he ain't grimy. he ain't really grimy,
man. So anyway, so what do we see?
I do see that under the reign of Uncle Trips, longer promos are being cut, and those longer promos do not seem to be as scripted. The dialogue, and if they are scripted, the dialogue is very different. There's more of a mature vibe around the dialogue. There's a lot more wrestling.
Yes.
Like and I know we've talked about it before. People who are on the internet, they've read it about a 3-hour broadcast, but how much actual in-ring performing is going on. Off the rip, that number went way up.
If I'm not mistaken, like, SmackDown Go Home show had 49 minutes of actual wrestling, which was the highest amount of wrestling total action on SmackDown this entire year.
That's far.
Also, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say, let me see this real quick. And I might be wrong. I'm going to do my numbers, but I believe Monday Night Raw was the highest rated Monday Night Raw they've had in a couple of years.
Actually, you are correct. They jumped up out of the gutters like the highest rated since sometime in 2020.
Damn, see, look at me outside. Ended up in this bitch simultaneously.
Now you got that one off. You did your thing. Yeah, it's just, I won't say that everything is light years better and we fixed everything all in one episode, but you can see the progress. It's the little things. The little things that to us had become so major that we got disengaged with the product. They were starting to flip those things over. Not only did you have more wrestling, you had matches that fucking mattered.
Boy, two. Were they three ways?
I think it was a 3-way and then a singles match, if I'm not mistaken, from me reading it, because I don't know if I caught the second match.
At any rate, you had matches that mattered for a title that had fallen by the wayside. So Bobby Lashley, as your, well, let me put this out here. Your winner, WWE United States Champion, is showing himself to be a fighting champion, as they're lining up multiple challenges for him right after SummerSlam.
So, Pete, the one thing about that I was like, not so much, is the way they try to, okay, the lineage of the United States title. The wrestling part of it, love it. The ultra Americanism, patriotism type vibe they put on it, that it didn't play well. It didn't play well with me, especially because you just spent like 8 weeks of television building up a military veteran to then immediately turn her heel. Like you took a military veteran, built them up as a sympathy case. The shit didn't work when they debuted his face, so then you pivot and try to make this person a heel. She was a heel to begin with. She was a heel from the jump. You should have just stuck with what worked. The Southern Belle gimmick wasn't terrible. She can pull it off.
The Ric Flair shit was.
Yeah, now that was god awful, but that's neither here nor there.
Pregnancy was the best thing to happen to that angle.
Boy. A pregnancy angle was ended by a real pregnancy.
The irony.
2 out of 3 falls my ass. It's over with. But you turn around and you're going to put Bobby Lashley in a similar situation because you've played up the patriotic aspect of the United States Championship, and you have Bobby Lashley, who is a veteran with hands. Please don't fight Mike, though. Don't do that.
Nah, we don't need that for either of you.
Either of you. You ain't got shit to prove to me, famo.
Like you're over 6 feet tall. Mike is what, 5'7", 5'8", with the shortest, most powerful uppercut in the history of the sport.
I think it's more like 5'9", 5'10". Like,
either way, the shortest, most powerful uppercut in the entire business, in the history of the business.
Like Jonathan Gresham's 5'5", 5'6", right?
He came out speaking about that too. They had him build at 160. At his height, he was 200, and currently is around 180. So he talks to people that let people know that it's okay to be the size that he is. That's another story. But anyway. Go ahead though.
Yeah, here nor there, because like you don't sound physically imposing when you say 180. You say 180, you think of a fucking high school kid. Like 180 is a big high school kid. You're a grown ass man. You're in your 30s.
I was 6'1", 175 when I graduated high school.
Hit the bell for me. I know what the fuck I'm doing. Shit, you mean, bro?
That's close enough.
I've been outside, famo. I've been outside.
End up in this bitch simultaneously.
Simultaneously. But I didn't care for that as much. But Lashley got to cut a promo, and it wasn't like screaming, angry, I'm gonna break this building down brick by brick type thing. but it wasn't like the Fraser Crane Beast from X-Men cartoon stuff that Keith Lee does.
Is it me, or did it seem like the promos that were cut on Monday, even the whole Seth Rollins, Matt Riddle thing from Sunday, didn't it seem like this was a live promo class? Like, go out there and do your thing. I didn't get the feeling.
It was kind of like, hey, go out. Basically, a litmus test. Hey, go out here, cut your promos. Let me hear what you got going on.
If you've been here, if you've been here for a couple years, go out there and get active. Let's see what you got.
Go get active. We want to see where you are. So go out here, cut your promo. We'll figure it out. So if it's good, we'll keep going with it. If it's not, we'll figure out how to fix it. I was happy with that because Becky Lynch hit a home run. Let's keep it G.
Oh man,
Lashley hit at least a ground rule double.
I'm not mad that he swung for the fences, but he made it to a couple. I'll give him that.
No, I wasn't even gonna say he swung for the fences just because on the heels of that video package, it was like, what can you really do other than be personable? So he cut. You know who I thought of literally when he was talking, but I've never seen this person cut a promo like that.
Who that?
Sergeant Craig Pitbull Pittman.
Something told me you were going to say that, and I hate it because at this stage they kind of resemble each other.
I mean, I didn't make it up. I didn't lie. I did not lie.
Oh man, you right. You was right.
You know what I'm saying? Like just bear with me. I'm gonna give you something, bro. Don't worry about it.
Just a little taste.
Just a little ski taste. Just a little ski taste.
Oh man.
But, yeah, like just the different things from Raw, you can tell things are different. And since you can tell things are different, it makes you feel like, okay, well, let's go back, let's see what's going on. So obviously, because everyone knows Vince retired, they wanted to see how much different Raw would be. I think personally, they were given enough to come back next week. Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to become a full-time fan again, but it does absolutely mean that you gave them enough of an improvement for them to come back and say, I want to see it again.
And what's crazy is, even though the brand split is all but over, SmackDown still has a separated feel to it, and I actually can't wait to watch it tomorrow or tonight as you're listening to this. Let me before we get away from WWE, two things. Number one, let me give you something that just hit the news rounds this morning. WWE NIL's first signee, AJ Ferrari, has been charged with 1 count of sexual battery, according to the Oklahoman newspaper. Payne County Sheriff's Office in Oklahoma, which is where Stillwater is, Oklahoma State University, and this is according to Mike Johnson, the PW Insider, lists AJ Ferrari as having bonded out of their jail within the last 24 hours. He was dismissed from Oklahoma State's wrestling team after they became aware of the sexual assault allegation against him. Ferrari's attorney stated, quote, the allegations against AJ are false. It is unfortunate that a student athlete can become a target primarily because of their status as an elite athlete. AJ is cooperating with law enforcement and is confident the truth will come out. He appreciated his time in Oklahoma State, but he and the university mutually agreed that a change was appropriate. Whoa. And then also back in January, he was involved in a car accident as let me just read this report. According to the Oklahoma Highway Patrol, Ferrari was driving a 2019 Dodge Durango with Rodriguez as his passenger on Highway 33 near Perkins, Oklahoma. That is a very dangerous stretch of 2-lane highway. Very dangerous. Rolling hills, old. It is very, very old. Very, very dangerous. And I'm probably sure that they probably done some upgrades to it over the years, but it's so loosely traveled, it is still very dangerous. At any rate, about 8 p.m. when he attempted to pass 3 vehicles while cresting a hill. Ferrari's SUV hit an oncoming driver, then left the roadway to the left and overturned several times before coming to a rest in the ditch. The cause of the collision was listed as, quote, passing in a no passing zone. And so in 2020, he was the WWE's first NIL signee, as I stated before. Freestyle wrestling bronze medalist in the Cadet World Championships, and was also the 2020 U.S. Junior National Champion. As of right now, his WWE NIL deal is still intact, but I anticipate that status changing in the very near future. On the flip side, back to the, I guess it was still in WWE, but I can't call this a roster move. Vincent Kennedy McMahon has preemptively had one of the greatest / worst t-shirts in the history of merchandise being sold on WWE Shop. And it says $1 billion asshole. And of course, the 2 S's in asshole are dollar signs.
For the 99 and the 2000.
That's pretty that's pretty phenomenal to do that in this time. I don't know what to say, man.
Like, bruh, could you pick a worse situation to put yourself in? Like, how do you not pull that shirt?
Well, I clicked the link that you sent me. It's not here.
Because that bitch probably sold out.
That part. And when it comes back,
price just went up.
Absolutely. That's a $120 t-shirt right now. If you try to go to eBay and try to find that shirt.
You know what? That's an activity I'm down for. Let's see here. eBay. Vince McMahon $1 billion asshole. The $100 Vince McMahon tee. Oh wait, that was it. That was 2 months ago. Oh wow. 250. This was in April. We must have missed this one.
Yeah, the shirt is a WrestleMania release. Like, that shirt was made for WrestleMania. It just aged poorly.
Oh, that was a no chance. That was the no chance $1 billion shirt. The no chance in Vegas shirt was worth $1 billion. Let me keep looking here. T-shirtandhoodie.com has it. Let's see. $22.99. Yeah, I don't see it on WWE Shop anymore. I don't even see anything higher than that $24 price point. I'm apparently this may have come from John Oliver. Oh man. Oh well. Yo, here's some news that you can use. We a couple of weeks ago on episode was it once? Yeah, it was 177. Shouts out to Mega Ran. Shouts out to Emily MC. On 177, we were talking about the creative direction of AEW and the lack thereof as it relates to the Jonathan Gresham story. From, if you don't know what we're talking about, go back and listen to episode 177, available on all streaming platforms. Apparently, AEW has made some changes to its talent relations and its coaching side, as they have enlisted Madison Rain to help with the women's division, as they've also trademarked All Elite Women, which I think is phenomenal. And it all but begs that there's going to be an all women's pay-per-view on AEW. It's not like they don't have enough talent to pull it off, but they need to get ready for that. That's all I'm saying. Sanjay Dutt, QT Marshall, Pat Buck, and Tony Schiavone will now be under the expanded talent relations team. And Madison Rain is joining as the women's coach of the women's division.
I wonder where they got this idea from.
Somebody's listening. It's amazing. A week ago, we were talking about the fact that Jonathan Gresham left for a number of different reasons, but one of them was the fact that we deduced that there was no talent relations for the talent on that side of the fence. And less than a week later, an announcement comes out that here's your talent relations division. Coincidence? Not when it keeps happening over and over and over again. It doesn't matter where you are. The business is still the same. We here for you.
Still the same.
Suave.
Yo. For a nominal fee,
Soon to be.
a phenomenal fee, we will take some of this broken pencil knowledge, slice it off, and put it on your plate.
We serve healthy helpings.
Randy B.
So healthy helpings. Healthy helpings around this bit. We be eating food up around this bit. Y'all be hungry no more. We be around this bit. Yo, is there anything else we're missing before we go into the main event of the evening?
Let me double check, cause if it ain't jumping off the page right now, especially I'm fresh off a flight, I'm not thinking about any of these motherfucking yahoos.
Well, I'm glad, because that grumpiness that you have, that jet lag that you have, is about to come into full play.
Right, that's what we've been saving all this for. You hear this shit with MJF? Apparently, like, the shoot has turned back into a work.
I love it. Isn't he? So I saw something that he was shooting something about with the Impractical Jokers, and I've been in the most random of places. I've been seeing AEW posters around the office place, sir.
Word?
Yeah. The most random of places.
So that would mean
like unoccupied floors that I use for peace and quiet. And these things weren't there weeks ago. And yes, Max's face. I'm saying too much.
Yeah, but Max is yeah, Max. But apparently, from rumors and reports, the contract situation has been resolved, and now it's basically turned back from a shoot into a work. Which I'm like, we all knew Max was gonna get paid. Just by who? We knew how this was gonna end. This story ends with Max getting a check cut. It's either gonna be from you, or it's gonna be from the Levesque.
But there's a check, and there's ink, and there's a signer, and there's a signee.
Right, there is a check coming.
The signee, I'm sorry, the signor, should I say, of said check is that's a random. That's an X factor. The signee doesn't change. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, it's a beautiful life. I'm glad that this is getting worked out.
It works.
Simply because, like, we need the entertainment value. Because when you don't have your CM Punks, and you don't have your MJFs, and you don't let Bryan Danielson do the things that he's really good at, the show is not as good. I don't care how you say it. I don't care what reasoning you say. I don't care if you tell me about long-term storytelling, because if you use that phrase with me, I know you're a jackass. It just ain't good. Like, it is not as good when you don't have those real wrestling personalities to offset the silly shit. All of the silly, carny, indie, stupid shit from the people that we can barely tolerate to look at, let alone watch a match involving. You need that serious.
The jackass spitters.
All of them, and the Block Control Express. They're all in one car. Just doing a bunch of stupid. You chasing a dragon.
A Hyundai Elantra at that.
Boy. But yeah, you need that serious element to offset the bullshit. And when you don't have it, the show suffers. Like, so yes, I am in a hurry to see CM Punk get back. I want more FTR on my television. I want you to start doing better by Darby Allin. All of these things that I can think of, but I just want better for the product. And we got too many people hurt to achieve that.
Okay, if we look at AEW, this is gonna be really quick. If we look at AEW right now, who do you feel are the 4 pillars of AEW right now? And throw me an honorable mention while you're at it.
As of right now,
right
today,
this second, like today,
it's still Max's one. Max is still one.
He's definitely at the top of the platform. Absence makes the heart grow. Go fonder. Go ahead.
Jay Cargill.
Ooh.
Because Jay Cargill is the most homegrown of all the homegrown. You have no footage of her wrestling anywhere other than AEW.
Factual.
Speaking of which, can we put out an APB on Britt Baker?
I'll take that too for the APB.
Yeah, I was gonna say for the APB because she done lost that pillar spot, so you gotta get it up, shawty. Let's see.
Put her
difficult now.
Put her in the sidecar. I'm gonna come back to her in a second. Go ahead though.
Okay. Pillars of AEW.
We got Jay Cargill. We got Max at the top. Who else we got?
Jungle Boy took a huge step with his promo when
2 weeks ago.
Came back,
yeah,
like calling Christian the biggest pussy he's ever seen. I was like, he got bass in his voice and everything. Like, shit, son. All he had to do was grow some hair on his face, and I've been like, oh, okay. no Jungle Buck for you.
Shave them sides, make the mullet look like a mohawk.
Nah, now you fucking with his value. You're doing too much. You're doing entirely too much.
Give him a half moon part at least.
Please.
Can you imagine that long ass hair and a half moon part?
That's terrible.
No, slick his hair back with a ponytail. That's what you do.
Don't do that.
That's superstar shit. Go ahead though.
It's difficult. I still want Darby there, but they ain't treating him like that.
But he is. I'm with you. He deserves better, but he definitely is. Keep going. Stock down to Sammy Guevara. I won't even put him there.
Yeah, him and Darby are riding together in the same car. They are in the same car. One is booked terribly. The other one is just kind of. You got to get the fuck away from Chris Jericho. Like, you got to go ahead and have your program with Chris Jericho where you go over and just leave that shit alone. Now, we know Jericho gonna make that shit stretch for 6 months, and he's gonna win the final match.
All right. Well, let me help you with this then. So we got Max, we got Jade, we got Darby. Are we putting Sammy Guevara in the car?
I don't want to. Run down the roster, because like right now,
I'm gonna tell you who's driving the car. Okay, wait. So Jonah, Jack Perry, is he in there or no?
I think he has to be.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you who's driving the car that Darby and Jack Perry are in.
Okay.
Scorpio Sky.
Is he a pillar of AEW? Like, I don't think
he's in the if there's a car for mistreatment, he's the driver of that bitch. He's the first black champion that they had, one of the first tag team champions, one half of the first tag team champions in the company. he's earmarked to be the first person to win a Triple Crown. Well, actually now there's 4 belts, so fuck out of here with that notion. Could he be the first Grand Slam champion? Definitely. But he seems to be there for the long haul. He seems to be a company guy. I don't think he should have lost the way that he did to Wardlow. In fact, I don't even think they should have fed him to Wardlow. I think Scorpio Sky should still be the television champion, but he's not. And he's already had what, two reigns as the TNT champion?
Yes.
So how can you not put him as a pillar when they giving him all these accolades, only for us to notice how bad they're treating him? You feel where I'm coming from? Because he's a day oneer.
I do.
He ain't homegrown. He's a veteran, multi-year veteran, multi-decade veteran. So I will take him. Now on the side card, this is the reason why I wanted to know that is I would love to see if turned loose and executed properly on some work shoot type shit, especially with Max at the helm, a Pillars faction.
I think eventually at some point you probably should get that.
And every one of them gets belts. And in fact, I would dare say they don't join the faction until they get their belts.
I think you got to leave one of them out.
Without
one of the pillars should not be a part of the group because those pillars need somebody to fight. That makes sense.
Darby, take Darby out.
Cool. I don't see Max getting along with them though. I take that back. I see Max pimping the other 2. Cool. The other 3.
I'm about to say, like he's an asshole. Like he
I mean, I get that. I'm saying that, but he's such an asshole that he belongs by himself. I take that back. Wardlow's a fucking pillar. Why am I tripping? That's jet lag talking.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know how I brought him up in conversation, and so even if we left everybody we just named, so we'll say Jade Cargill, Britt Baker, Wardlow, Jack Perry, YFN Darby, Max, and Scorpio Sky. That's 7 people. That's a good enough faction. Like, you don't even have to have them all on TV at the same time. They just know they represent the same clique. Similar to something like, like Chaos. Similar to something like old Bullet Club. They represent the Pillars, and they are a unit. And ever so often, just like the proper seasoning on a nice steak or some jerk chicken, you break out the good shit every now and then.
Right.
But you don't have to see them on TV as a total unit every week. That shit's beat.
Don't be a total unit every week. That's the moral of that story.
Moral of the story: don't be a total unit every week. And speaking of total unit every week, let me turn this music down real quick. This is where shit gets a little interesting. There has been some activity that has made its rounds over the internet that indirectly affects Suave and I, and we've been party to similar situations, but not quite this egregious.
Right.
I'm gonna play you some audio from it looks like apparently it was an album release party for Wiz Khalifa. If you haven't heard this, check this out.
I ain't gonna lie, the fact that you told me it's an album release party kind of is gonna put a slant on how I feel about this.
Well, and I don't know that to be true. I'm using context clues here, so here it is for you.
Mind you, Wiz has been practicing in MMA, so that's funny to me.
He's practicing MMA?
Oh yeah, Wiz been training like for real.
It's tragic.
I mean, like don't let the records that don't let the Fast and the Furious record change your mind on who this guy is. Like, Wiz from Pittsburgh. Okay. You know how
Pittsburgh is pretty gutter. I know a couple of cats from Pittsburgh. It's pretty damn gutter. But I'm not about to sit here. I'm not about to sit here and big up somebody for their level of gangsterism in a small ass town like that. B,
No, I'm just saying you have to be conditioned to either handle yourself or stay in the house. It's not me putting any stripes or anything on gangster activity or gangster shit. None of that, because that don't really pan out well for everybody.
This is a fact.
But you would figure, okay, you've been around enough artists. You know some artists that are like always running from the confrontation, the ones that are always running to the confrontation, or the one who ain't running from shit.
I know a lot more than ain't running from shit, the ones that are running to the confrontation or the ones that are running away from the confrontation.
Exactly. So he just put that in the air. Like, if you wanted to go here, I'm cool.
Well, let's go through the whole video. So here, the whole audio. So 1 second.
Yes, nigga, if you want to fight, nigga, we can do it. Y'all niggas suck. Don't hug me, bitch. Y'all niggas suck. Play my new shit, nigga. Play it. Play badass bitches. Y'all are horrible DJs. Now, I came here tonight to promote for y'all and have a good ass time and have a great time. But you know what I'm not gonna do? I'm not gonna sit here and let these hoe ass niggas like this shit is acceptable. I'm a real ass nigga, dog. My album just came out today. Play my new shit, dog.
We gon' start this shit alright.
I want some bad. Get out the way. I don't like you, dog. I want some bad bitches. Bad bitches. They can see me. I'm teaching these niggas how to do this shit. I'll teach y'all niggas how to DJ. Bitch, you gonna get money. Cause I'm blowing hot. Keep the secrets.
Let's start with the most obvious thing here.
All right.
I'm going to take you back a couple years, the time's gotten away from both of us, so please pardon me when I say a couple of years. It could be a few, it could be 5. I remember one Jermaine Dupri rendering DJs powerless in the promotions game by basically saying that they have no weight, they carry no weight, and I'm paraphrasing that. As a DJ who has carved quite a path over the last 20 years plus promoting records, shouts out to Head Crack, shouts out to Tan Spot, Black Spot, shouts out to Big Money Jerome from Priority. There are a lot of people who are responsible for me getting my hands on a lot of music to promote Delano Washington, and then also getting my own accounts to promote songs that you may or may not know I had a huge hand in you hearing if you were in certain parts of the country. Not cap. That doesn't come without me having some kind of weight and where I was at as a DJ. And I mean, I remember there was a Wicker Pool 1200 Squad, which was founded by Cornerstone. Cornerstone used to be the DJ magazine. It was a quarterly magazine that included a mixtape from a top-notch DJ every quarter. It was sent to radio stations, clubs, you name it. You could get your hands on the Cornerstone, and it was some exclusive shit. And it got that name for a reason. The DJ is a Cornerstone. It was a magazine for DJs, about DJs and DJ culture as it relates to music, to help tastemakers get their hands on certain items, or to keep a pulse of what tastemakers have and things of that nature, if you didn't consider yourself or work in the space to be a tastemaker. And over the years, because of physical mediums becoming virtually non-existent, things like new media, i.e. digital marketing, became the way to promote. So you had things like email blasts, digital record pools, subscription services, streaming services. And now, although not powerless, they're just a lot less effective going hand to hand when you have the ability to increase your social media presence and or your viability based on the activity that you have online. Mm-hmm. That said, Suave, You have an album coming out. I'm on the album. I have a venue that I'm performing at. And I don't have the album because it had to go through you and your chain of command to get the proper clearances done to make sure that it's ready for human consumption.
Right. AKA generating revenue.
Whatever the case may be. Even this
Right.
even just for Sonic approval.
Right.
What's the best way for me as a DJ to have your album that I'm on?
Talking about physical MP3 files?
Sure. How would I get those?
Directly from me?
Directly from you. What a fucking concept. Hey, dickhead, Wiz Khalifa. If you wanted the DJ to have your album at an album release party, the only thing you needed to do was forge a relationship and get that man your fucking music.
Now, okay. Now, as an artist, I'm going to say this. If we're operating under the assumption that it's an album release party, and whether you have a relationship with that DJ or not, or whether someone on your team established a relationship with that DJ or not, this is a digital release, so it's available on all streaming platforms, which is like, it's become such a catchphrase that everybody uses it. Available on all DSPs, meaning this DJ with this Apple MacBook laptop looking so pretty perched up on its laptop stand, with access to the internet, can get this album in order to play it out loud. Now, I completely agree with what you're saying. For better results and for the DJ to take a personal interest, because that's what it's about.
Come on, man.
It's about the DJ taking a personal interest in the music you send them as well as you as a person. That's how you get club DJs to play records. That or flat out paying you, which
we won't go there. We won't go. We can't go.
Okay,
there.
okay. We won't open the casket of payola, but okay. If everything's organic,
Farm to table.
that's what farm to table. Now, Wiz is still a major. Wiz has a team. The Wiz is not doing this shit solo, major label or not. At this stage of the game, Wiz is not handling his own shit. None of it. He's just showing up. He show up, roll up, and roll out.
I dare say Wiz is legend status at this point.
I have no reason to argue with it. Like, you know, look at his resume for real. I know a lot of people. It makes it a lot easier to say fuck Wiz Khalifa when he ain't been doing music. But again, look at his resume. Look at how many, you know, Billboard charts. And I know we typically don't give a fuck about Billboard, but that type of shit factors into how much you can charge to go to somebody's venue.
Man.
Like, bitch, I'm on here, I got this, I got that, I have this placement. I'm not doing a walkthrough for less than 6 figures. That's what artists use that for.
And he's not a stupid man either. He knew
not in the least.
He knew this type of situation was going to elevate eyes on him. Because I know he's not stupid, I also call the severity of this confrontation into question. Talk to me.
It's like, damn, how can I kick up some dust for an album release?
Hold on. Before you go there, back onto the DSPs. One DSP in particular, for a DJ to have access to this, if you don't want to forge that relationship, is Tidal. If he released it on all DSPs, Tidal is the one that all artists should want to go for because they pay the most per spin.
All facts.
Number 2, they have the highest quality of music, not just MP3s. They also have CD quality waveforms on their profile, on their platform, if you pay for that. But even paying for the student version or the $9.99 subscription, you have access to the majority, 95% of the Tidal catalog to use A, on your phone to create playlists, and B, use those playlists on your laptop for Serato. The only DSP that allows you to stream from Serato in real time. And yes, you have to have internet to do that in a place like that. If you are a DJ,
owes us a check.
If you are a DJ of any sort and you are prepared for the worst, you would have a phone with hotspot on it in the event that your venue did not have Wi-Fi.
As I do.
As I have too.
And shout out, well, Apple Music's trying to catch up. They're offering like lossless Apple mastered type stuff. So they're trying to close that gap, but everything you said about Tidal is absolutely correct. They should be sending us some type of care package or some shit. But
you know they're worse than Apple other than paying their artists. They ain't gonna give you shit. But go ahead.
Right. Like, that's just wishful thinking. But in that situation, if it's an album release party and I'm on the flyer, then obviously when you came to work that night, you knew you were gonna need some Wiz Khalifa in rotation. Look, if you knew the shit more than 24 hours in advance, you would have made a fucking Wiz Khalifa playlist.
But if you didn't know,
every so often while you DJ in the club, you switch back over and play a classic. Switch back over, play another classic. Switch back over, play another classic. Soon as midnight hit, you start playing a new album.
And even if you didn't know and you fucked around and found out, go back and listen to about the last 4 or 5 minutes of what we just talked about. We got that for you. But again,
but
the disrespect. The disrespect.
I get okay, go ahead.
That was handed out verbally. That DJ didn't deserve that.
How do we know that?
But again,
you don't ever see the slap that leads to the gunshot.
Yeah, I was going to say here we go going back into the same car again.
Here's the thing.
Yeah, just cause this motherfucker got dressed down in about 45 seconds worth of video, and you want to make Wiz Khalifa the villain in that because that's all you saw. You don't know what the exchange was between those two people before the incident got to that point.
Yeah.
You're talking about a person who literally smokes weed every day.
He has a strain named after him.
That man smokes more weed than he consumes food.
And he looks like that too in his weight. But go ahead.
I mean, look, man, I'm not finna.
That's not a diss record. I mean, hell, the motherfucker's skinny as hell. He frail. I'm not calling him weak.
Yeah, he's Montez Ford version 1.
Goddamn.
Yeah. So, yeah, you don't know what happened before that shit went left. That's number 1. Number 2, what did we talk about at the beginning of this episode? Staffing has issues in the service industry. Being a DJ is a part of the service industry. Okay, how you fucking want to? You can add some other shit onto it, but first and foremost, it's a service industry job because you are servicing crowds, you are servicing venues. There's always going to be Wi-Fi in the club. You know why? Because all of the fucking POS scanners in that venue to pay for the shit that you get from behind the bar is set up electronically. No one's using old school till cash registers like you hear us hitting these triggers. No one's doing that. So there's always Wi-Fi available. And like you say, as DJs, as we know, keep that phone, keep it charged, make it a hotspot if shit just happens to go left for any reason.
Fuck that. I tell you what I did. Shouts out to Young Thor. I had Wi-Fi in the building I was in. I also had 5G Plus on one of my phones. You know what I did? I said, fuck the Wi-Fi in the building. I use that as backfall. I used the 5G Plus and I was straight.
Facts, because I don't know how many people are tethered to this Wi-Fi or if your network is secure.
But I know this phone ain't getting nobody's work but mine.
That part. So
and it's 100%.
at 100%. And it's 100%. Fuck you mean? My shit gonna stay plugged to the charger the whole fucking time we out here. Or I charge this bitch in the laptop so it's synced. Look, we know how to do this shit.
Man.
But you don't know how if it's an album release party and Wiz Khalifa is there expecting to promote his album and you as a DJ are not making that happen over the course of the night because you know Wiz Khalifa is not staying in or at that venue until the fucking lights come on. You know why? Because he probably has another club on the other side of town to do this same shit. No artist stays at one fucking venue when you're out when in the midst of a rollout.
Unless
there's too many DJs.
Unless it's the only venue in the area, which by looking at that venue, I would probably say that venue is in Florida somewhere.
Okay, so Florida is literally littered with nightclubs.
The entire state, I-95, I-75.
So he really truly might be on a fucking schedule where it's like, okay, I stay here till 10:30, do a walkthrough, do whatever, play a couple records. Now I'm here at 11. Now 12:45, I gotta be here. 1:30, I gotta be here, and I'm right at the end of the club, or I'm hitting fucking strip club that don't close till 5, and I'm gonna be there for the rest of the night.
Man.
So all of these factors are coming into play, which would lead someone to be pretty fucking upset. Because at the end of the day, if you playing with my fucking records, you playing with my money.
Playing with my money, fam.
So anybody would be upset if somebody was fucking with your money, being an asshole. Because, okay, respect, especially in the music industry, when you're on the ground level, when you're dealing with just the artist, just the DJ. Because I know better and I've done both jobs, I have a level of respect. There are some people who become the DJ and their particular view on life becomes distorted because they have control. Do you realize how powerful a DJ can be? If a DJ decides to stop the music until he gets his way, ain't shit in that venue moving. You DJ a venue and your money don't look right, and you decide to just hit the motherfucking break button, and the music goes, and you ain't playing another stitch till you get your money, guess what? Somebody either gonna pay you, or we all finna be in this bitch looking at the floor.
I've never had to do this before. And I'm interested to see if anybody's ever done this on purpose.
Okay.
But the easiest way to clear a venue out is to turn your volume all the way up and unplug a sound source.
Ooh.
Let that sit for a second.
Ooh, ooh. Sound like you blew a fucking amp, and yeah, it'll be like the night's over. And look, real time is not real time in a club venue when anything goes on with the sound system or the DJ equipment. 2 minutes feels like 20.
The clock counts backwards.
My God, today. So, all that being said, the respect level. We have to respect one another. You have a job to do. I have a job to do. And if we have matching vibes, we can do this job together and have a little fun at the same time. You getting paid at the end of the night. I got paid before I got here. If me and you work in tandem, guess what? We're gonna have a whole bunch more fun, and I'm gonna make sure you go home with a little bit more than you were supposed to. But that's me. Now here's the other side of it. We are of in the DFW sphere of entertainment, for good, bad, and different. I won't get into my feelings on how that shit goes. However, here's an anecdote from what goes on in these streets. Couple years back, don't remember how many because I've been at the game, that particular game, for a while. But at one point in this city,
if this is what I think you're talking about, the numbers you're looking for are 3, 5, and 7, and they all make sense. If you do your math, think about 3, 5, and 7. But go ahead.
So there was this thing going on because the DJs in this city this was in the beginning of DJs in this city assuming a gatekeeper role. Like, because we had during the boogie movement, we had a lot of.
You're talking like, oh shit, this is like 04 through like 07, 08.
Yeah, so the boogie movement part of it, where like DJs were literally going to the hood, picking kids out. They were recording a record, and they gave it straight to that DJ, and that DJ went and got the money with it. And then, the couple teenagers, they would get some shows, but you're gonna blow that money eventually. Mm-hmm. You done made $50,000 over the course of a year doing five bands a piece. But you got to give him his 20% because now he's your manager too.
And on top of that, he bought you a chain that you got to repay.
That part. And without him, you get no radio play. No one knows who the song. Well, no one knows the song, so you can't go perform. So he's necessary.
Newsflash: he's doing mix show on both stations.
Ding. So, that's where the gatekeeper gene started to develop. It got worse, and then motherfuckers actually started playing gatekeeper like they were the ones. They played gatekeeper like they had Funk Flex influence.
Boy.
But there was a more aggressive iteration of artists after us. Because, I have some stories that I could tell that would be... It wouldn't shock anyone, but it would shock some people.
It's for another show, and I got some smoke for you on that too. But go ahead, not for this show, but I'll tell you about it. But go ahead.
Absolutely. So some of these younger artists that were out, trying to ply their craft, trying to get on, all of these different things, they would go approach these DJs, and these DJs would give them attitude like, "I ain't finna do this," or pay to play is just some shit. Like, you just have to accept it. Like, that's it. It's don't look at it as pay to play. Look at it as this is my advertising budget. It's just we've gotten to that point. But when things were not proceeding in the way that these artists felt were satisfactory to them, they were slamming laptops shut in the middle of club sets. You know what happens to a laptop when you slam it shut, right?
Oh, man. Back then, the hard drive had moving parts.
The hard drive has moving parts. The screen is fragile.
Your screen is not protected.
And look, that's the other side of it. But just what happens to what does a laptop do when you just close it? Like, you're on a MacBook right now.
It shuts down.
It shuts down.
It goes to sleep.
And remember what we said about how time moves backwards when you have to reset up some shit dealing with a sound system? Just the fact that you have to open this laptop, re-sign in, and go back to what you were doing.
And hope your external hard drive wasn't the one that was reading when that happened.
And hope the fucking screen's not cracked. It takes a whole lot of time. And if you're one of those people where the chair slides back and the person in it stands up, slamming that laptop has just opened the door to a completely different confrontation. Now,
usually starting with
fighting words.
Like, say, man, what the fuck you doing is usually how the conversation starts.
If you get any words out of me, period. I've never had my laptop slammed, but I'm of a different ilk. I handle people differently. I respect people enough to tell them up front, if you gonna walk up on me with a record at 1:00 in the morning, be prepared to drop out. Because I'm not about to break from regularly scheduled programming to be a tester for you.
Especially when I don't know you.
I don't know you. Now, if I know you, yeah, I've done it. If I know you, or, I can pick your face out of a crowd, we've had interaction other than just right now, I'll make an exception. I've had motherfuckers. Shout out to D Gully. D Gully left the studio with some shit and brought it to me right then. And I played the shit on the spot. Just because I know who he is.
There's
we have a rapport. Yes, there's a rapport.
Yeah. Forged. There you go.
There's a rapport. But I also know if he was on a tour, if we're in a major club venue, that wasn't a major club venue. It was more like it was something else. But in a major club venue, look, bro. DJs gotta stop being so sensitive, but artists gotta be better. Like, it's not. There's no one blame for me, and that's because I've done both jobs. But I can't I can't blame Wiz Khalifa when I don't know what happened in totality. There's multiple DJs up there.
That's exactly what I was going to say. If what we saw was what it was, then the boy fuck yous are in mass. However, there are too many people in that venue and one too many DJs on that stage for one person to get that upset and say, y'all suck with nothing coming before it.
That is my whole point. You don't see the slap that led to the gunshots. That's one of my favorite 50 Cent quotes that has nothing to do with rap.
So I will to my dying day, if I ever say anything disrespectful towards the DJ, I'm a vulture. I misrepresented everything that I stand for and have stood for since 1985. So that you won't get that out of me. Now there are certain individual DJs. There are certain individual DJs that can get my foot up their ass on the real. But I choose not to talk about them because negative press is the best form of free advertisement. Game.
This is true. If it's a DJ I don't fuck with and they at a venue, I'm not going.
And if I don't fuck with you, I don't fuck with you. So don't attempt to try to fuck with me. Male or female, don't matter. Because I've had both in that situation. All over the country. From here to Milwaukee. All points in between. Cleveland, Ohio as well. But I digress. Don't go so out of your way to vilify Wiz. And there's a lot of people who've said things like, about how they feel about the situation, but not one of them has given you the objective point of view that Suave myself I presented in front of you. Not one. I've heard numerous comments, numerous play-by-plays. Not one person has given credence to the fact that 1 minute and 9 second segment of an entire night explains the dichotomy of what actually happened. Because it doesn't.
Just think about the person in question. When have you ever seen Wiz Khalifa angry? Ever. When have you ever seen him angry? And that's why I brought up the thing about this man smokes multiple strains daily. Confrontation ain't his thing. This motherfucker's a hippie. He's Snoop Jr. Okay, how much different is this situation if it's Snoop Dogg instead of Wiz Khalifa going off on some couple DJs?
For me and you, it's the exact same.
For me and you, but this tidal wave. Shout out to Tidal. If this tidal wave of DJs on social media trying to cancel Wiz Khalifa, like, first of all,
Snoop a fool. If this is the case, is that Snoop crazy? Snoop a fool. You see what Snoop did?
Damn,
Snoop.
So what they do to piss off Unc?
Big Unc outside.
You know what I'm saying? So there's a different vibe, and then you're trying to cancel, air quotes, cancel Wiz Khalifa. Like, this motherfucker made the money already. Like, what are you canceling? What the fuck are you canceling on Wiz? Like, I get it.
His cable subscription? He probably did that anyway.
His DVR cloud add-on? Like, what are you doing?
His plus access on Hulu.
But that's that shit. You have... I respect the DJ. Let me make that perfectly clear. I've done the job, so I respect the work that goes into it. Even if you're just, air quotes, a music programmer at a club, I get it. I respect the DJ, but that shit has to go both ways. Regardless of what level the artist is on, regardless of how much that artist is made, regardless of how long that artist is going to be in the venue. When there is a business transaction taking place between some form of representation from the artist and you as the DJ, you have the responsibility of doing good business at all times. Period. Because the money that is changing hands is real money. Real money that is tied to that artist and their invoice. The recoupables that they have to pay back in order to actually start making money and feeding their family and actually coming out of music industry debt is all tied to these venues when they show up for these promotional spots and these walkthroughs. So if you're not doing your job, you are directly affecting my income. meaning you are taking food off of my table. There's no other way you can phrase it. That's what it is.
If you're taking food away from my children, it is
I'm
problem.
on your ass like 12 o'clock. Fuck you.
Show BrokenPistolBC.com, BrokenPistolBC@gmail.com. That's at BrokenPistolBC on all things social. At BrokenPistolBC on what?
Everything.
With the shit, you can't write this. Fuck the casual fan, Broken Pencil Logic. Mark my words. And my personal favorite out of all these, Mr. Ron Murray.
Price just went up. Price just went up.
On your funky ass. We will catch you, Lord willing, in a week with some more shit. We have to do this tournament for him. We have to.
Yeah, we finna get back in this tournament bag. Like we are. I think we might go on a run of tournaments just to break up the monotony.
We don't have another pay-per-view until what's the September joint for AEW? You know what I'm talking about. All Out. Thank you. Damn, I'm thinking Double or Nothing, but yeah, all out's coming up. So we'll definitely
that happened already.
Yeah, I'm aware. So we'll come back with something on that. If something's groundbreaking, by all means, you'll hear from us. But yeah, get ready for some tournaments, man, because we about to get outside and up in this bitch simultaneously. What up, Tony Snow? All right, man. Shit, Suave.
Yo.
Take him to the house.
Pencil pushers. Heads up. Pencils down.